cu rezultate finale toți trei.
Prima comisie
pentru gimnaziu la grupa 12 ani, Oplea Mihaela, Gherțu Paula, Laura Delghiosu, Lipan Anca și Spas Anca. Comisia 2. Doamna Marian, Otilia Teodoru, Laura Laiu și Barbu Simona.
I'm Alexandru and I'll present to you my speech called The Uncaring Actions of Human Beings. As we all know, there are 7 billion individuals living on this planet at this very moment. It is a proven fact that we as humans are the most intelligent species on this planet. That means we are capable of understanding way more things than any other living creature. Now, you would expect superior beings like us to work with each other, socialize, respect and tolerate other people's religious beliefs and traditions. All 7 billion of us are only home. Now, do we take care of ourselves? Do we take care of our home? No. I'll give you 4 reasons why people should not even be considered superior species, 4 reasons why people don't care about others. First, cruelty. People are cruel. We are the only species on this planet that kills other living creatures for fun. I have recently read an article about an execution in North Korea where a man was shot in front of a packed stadium. In 2007, we reached the moon in 1969. Now you take your children to the ball game. They take their children to executions. And I wonder, what did they think? Did they all dress up nice to look in the mirror and say, okay, let's go and see a man get executed? How cruel is that? Keep this in mind, actions of superior beings. 2, greed. Every single day we are on this desperate run for money. If somebody dies in the middle of the street on our way to work, like literally collapses and dies, we step over that person. Who cares? They're dead. We need to go to work because we need the money. And people become capable of doing the craziest things just to get the money. They don't care about the effects their actions have in society as long as their pockets are full. 3, indifference. People are indifferent. No matter how much you think you care about other people, you don't. Think about me dropping bombs just because people believe in something else. Again, we call ourselves superior beings. We think we're important. You know what? I think we do not matter at all. If we disappeared tomorrow, just like that, just like the dinosaurs, do you think the universe would care? What if our universe is part of a much more complex thing that we are just not able to understand? Do you realize how unimportant your actions are? Do you realize how unimportant your run for money and power is? We're not even a drop of water.
The house divided against itself cannot stand. This sentence is part of Abraham Lincoln's speech upon the division between the slaves and the free states. Well, God created one big planet besides the infinite universe called the Earth. Later then, He created the man. And because he had a lot of love to share, He also created the woman. Well, these two sides collapse into one single unit and form a mini nation that is called the family. The people that give us love, understanding, a peaceful way of living, help, a shelter and food from one day to another, and a good education are here. And they don't ask for something in return. This is the most special way of living. Humans, some men have been born with a little amount of aggressiveness. And guess what? Moreover, this amount of aggressiveness is increased, is amplified by internet, by television, by magazines, and by money. By wishing to be rich and having more and more money. Ironically, some of these people have achieved the leadership of some nations, some important nations, that would later start bloody wars and The aim of these wars were to conquer, to earn, to gain treasure, money, but what for? Isn't there any other way to obtain all these things? Well, let's think for a second. First, you got to make a relationship between the conqueror and the conqueror, a relationship based on peace and understanding. Then the power is immediately raised because there are two nations collapsed into one single one. And last but not least, the treasure is also doubled.
However, the A320 could seat 150 passengers. However, since then, a lot had changed, and Airbus started making larger aircraft, and Boeing incorporated the fly-by-wire system in their newer aircraft. So today, we don't have to worry about security, comfort, or price of a flight anymore. However, not only major companies can use ideas as weapons. We can do that as well. We can use our intelligence as our weapon. To prove that, I will give you an example in my own life. One day, the math teacher gives us a really hard test, with 7 exercises, to solve in 1 hour. I noticed that many of my colleagues use the sketch first to solve the exercises.
They are probably crazy, and I'm afraid to share them, but I like to have them. It's a way of escaping to this kind of everything.
The next is under the The pen or pencil is mightier than the sword.
Ideas, what would we build at them? They are the steps we take on the path to our future. It's sad knowing that sometimes brilliant thoughts may die because someone is afraid to raise a voice. Or it's not really comfortable knowing that society often kills somebody's voice. But that's it, that's the human nature. Octavian Paler, a Romanian writer, once said, sometimes if humans cannot talk, they simply die. It's an ugly truth, but that's it. Silence is not always comfortable, not for humans. It may have escaped your notice, but life isn't fair.
Ideas are made of, and at the end of the day, they're all we have left. Not the houses, not the jewelry, and sometimes not even the people. For example, once in school, I had a classmate, and he really liked hurting his friends. He was very smart, but besides school, he only used his intelligence in mean purposes, and that was very wrong. I like to think that the ideas that we have inside our brain are arranged in a big chain. First you get a bad idea, then a better one, then a good one, until you come up with a brilliant one. For example, another example in school again, a teacher asked a very hard question, and I thought I knew the answer.
I'm in front of you today to talk to you about strength, the one which finds its place in our intellect. I have chosen to explore the darkest of human nature, the scenario in which this power of ours slips out of our control and takes us to destruction. Therefore, my speech consists of 2 main arguments. The first one starts by presenting a type of person, a path thief, as I like to call it, and I will explain these persons' role in our collapse. Whereas my second argument merely focuses on self-destruction. Well, I think it was high time I started already, and what better way of doing this than with an example. And I will be relying on a cliché so that we can all be on the same wavelength. I'm sure that we have all heard of the conflicts between generations. And I'm sure that you have heard of the stories of sons and daughters of very influential people who, instead of majoring in business or management, would rather just study arts, travel around the world, volunteer in Africa, that sort of thing. Unfortunately, in most of the cases, the parents' will prevails against the hopes and aspirations of their children. So why have I brought this up? Because I have taken the liberty to generalize the type of path thief on the model of these parents. you see, what these persons do not understand is that the moment they create a situation, any situation at all, in which we are forced, indeed forced to deviate from our own paths and follow another, that exact moment, they turn us against ourselves. And I must clarify from the beginning that this situation is not only created by parents choosing for their children, but also by prejudices you are submitted to, peer pressure, or any other type of demon our society faces today. Well, now comes my second argument. You see, the moment of them turning us against ourselves, beginning with our first step in that other path chosen by others, that exact moment, the path thief is not our enemy anymore. Because the job of sabotaging oneself is occupied by us. That's what Abraham Lincoln was trying to say, and I hate having to admit this. He was trying to prove that slaves and free people can never coexist, because by definition, they were completely opposing elements. And the process of them coexisting would only lead to the destruction of one of them, eventually. Well, that's what happens in your mind too, because you want to see your dreams come true. And for example, you may want to visit the Mayan pyramids, but the path you are on now requires a degree in management, and that tears you to little pieces. Well, I believe that at that moment, even if you see that you are breaking up inside between what you want to do and what you ought to do, even if you realize that you're losing your inner self, to your image, I wish to believe that at that moment, even if it is the 11th hour, I wish to believe that you are gathering your forces to pick yourself up. Your house might have fallen, that's right, but this might just be the occasion for you to build even a stronger one. Because you have to remember this. The only place you will never be able to escape is your own mind. Thank you.
Questions? Please. You said that you really dislike politics. What would you think the world would be like if politics never existed in the first place?
Well, I don't think the world could have existed without politics. It is a necessary evil, as everybody calls it. You see, because we needed this form of organization, this forum where people could go and explain their problems, and we could work out together some solutions. Well, today the situation has degenerated, and I hope I will not have to talk about this by now. Thank you for your question.
Other questions?
At least one question. Please.
What would happen if our mind, which we can't escape from, isn't united with our heart at some decision?
Well, really, that's what my speech is about, you know? Because I have given the example of the two paths. Your true path is the one where your heart is. But the path your parents want them to follow is your mind, because, you know, you have to be responsible, you want to respect them and respect their decision and so on. Well, that moment, this process of destructing each other happens, you know, because they said that the ideal situation in life is when you listen to your heart and to your brain, to your mind, and you know, you should probably find a middle path, but see, those who find it are very lucky. Thank you.
Okay.